everyone, thank you for clicking on this video. This video is all about how to solve the non-verbal reasoning questions, particularly with the section where you have to find the one that's most unlike the other or the odd one out. So this video focuses all on colours and how looking at for a particular colour can help you find the right answer. Now, when I say colours, we are limited to black, white and grey. So there's no sort of bright colours like red or blue. It's more black, white and grey, but you can focus on a particular colour to help you solve the problem. So I'll show each question on the screen. You can pause the video before the explanation starts to try and work it out yourself, or you can follow along as I demonstrate how you could use colours to help you solve these questions. So let's get into it. So we're going to look at this question here. If you want to pause the video so that you can try and work it out yourself, you can. So I've noticed that we've got some arrows, which we could use our follow the arrow tactic. I'll leave the video linked so you can have a look at that one. But I've noticed that we've got 3 arrows pointing up and 2 pointing down. So there's not sort of an odd one in which the way the arrow is pointing. So instead I'm going to start focusing on the dots, and already I can see we've got 4 black dots. So the odd one out is D because it's the only one with a white dot. So now I'm going to look at this question. If you want to pause the video to try and work it out yourself, you can. So I notice we've got a range of shapes. We've got some teardrops and some hearts. The hearts seem to be going vertically and the teardrops going horizontally. I noticed here that we've got some grey teardrops and some grey stripes. We've got some white hearts and a white stripe, white teardrops and white stripes, white teardrops but a black stripe or black stripes, and then black hearts and a black stripe. So the odd one out is D, because the colour of the shapes, the teardrops or the heart, has to match the colour of the stripes in the other box. So this is the next question we're going to look at. If you want to pause the video so that you can try and work it out yourself, you can. So I've noticed that they've all got the same shape, even though these two are facing the other way. It's not just one that's facing the other way. So it's nothing to do with the direction the shape is facing. I could count the dots, but I can already see that they've each got a different number of dots. There's not sort of like a consistent pattern. So instead, start looking at the colours. So there's not one that's sort of got like one colour on its own. So like this one's only got one black dot, but so is this one. But I have noticed that at the top we've got a white dot, a white dot, a white dot, a black dot and a white dot. So the odd one out is D, because at the top we've only got white dots, whereas this one is a black dot. So this is the question we're going to look at now. If you want to pause the video to try and work it out yourself, you can. So I've noticed we've got some black circles and white circles, and sort of like a dotted line that's sort of enveloping some of the circles. I can see that they're all enveloping a black one. These two have got 2, but because there's 2 of them, that can't be the odd one out. So I don't think it's got anything to do with the black dots. So instead I'm going to move on to the white ones. So I've noticed that this one's got 1. This one's got 2, 2, 2 and 2. So the odd one out is A, because all of these have got 2 white dots, whereas this one has only got 1. Okay, we're going to start looking at this question. So if you want to pause the video, you can. So I've noticed that we've got the colours of black and white. I'm going to look first of all to see if you have to have a certain number of each colour. So you've got 2 black and 1 white, all black, 2 black and 1 white, 2 black and 1 white and all black. So there doesn't seem to be a pattern with the number of each colour we need. I'm going to see if there is a particular, so it's not that it's got to have a black triangle or a black square in each one, because that's not consistent. But I have noticed that there's a line that is separating, or that's splitting the circle up. I noticed that in this section we've got a black circle, a black circle, a white circle, a black circle, and a black circle. So the odd one out will be C, because all the other smaller sections have a black dot rather than a white one. Okay, this is the question we're going to look at. So I've noticed that we've got all different shapes inside the bigger shape, so I don't think it's got anything to do with having to have a specific shape within the bigger shape. Notice that we've got 2 black and 2 white within each of the shapes. I have noticed that we've got a black rectangle here and the outside shape is a rectangle. We've got a black triangle there and the outside shape is a triangle. We've got a black circle there and the outside shape is a circle. And we've got a black square there and the outside shape is a square. So the odd one out is B, because we've got a black circle, but here the outside shape is an oval and both the ovals in the shape are white. This is the next question we're going to look at. So if you want to pause the video to work it out yourself, you can. So I can see that there's different shapes in each circle, so I don't think it's got anything to do with like needing a specific shape in each of the circles. But I have noticed that there's sort of a circle, a shape sort of half sticking out of the big circle. So I'm going to see if that has any relevance, because I've also noticed that each one has got a black shape in it as well. So we've got a black circle, but the triangle sticking out. We've got a black circle and the circle sticking out. We've got a black pentagon and it's a pentagon that's sticking out. We've got a black rectangle and it's the rectangle that's sticking out, and then the black square and it's the square that's sticking out. So the odd one out is A, because all the others, the black shape is the same shape as the one that's half hanging out. Okay, we're going to look at this question. So if you want to pause the video so that you can work it out yourself, you can. So I've noticed that in each flower, we've got 2 black triangles, 2 grey triangles, and only 1 white triangle. So I'm going to go round and see if there is a pattern between the order of the triangles. So this could take a while, and it'll either be that you manage to pick the right colour to start with to go round, or we're going to have to keep trying different colours. So I'm going to start with this black one here. So, and I'm going to go around in a clockwise direction. So we've got black, white, grey, black, grey. So then I'm going to try this one. Again, I'm going to start with the black triangle. It makes sense because that's the one I started with there. And I'm going to go around in a clockwise direction. So this time we got black, grey, white. So that's a different pattern to the one that went on here. So I'm going to try this one instead. So we've got black, white, grey, black, grey. So those 2 follow the same pattern. I'm going to find the big triangle again, so here it is, and I'm going to go around clockwise again. Black, white, grey, black, grey. So that follows the pattern of these 2. And then there's the big triangle here. I'm going to go round in a clockwise pattern. So black, white, grey, black, grey. So the odd one out is B, because it doesn't follow the same pattern going clockwise as all the others. So those are some examples of questions where you can focus on the colours to help you find the right answer. So as we spoke about at the beginning, the colours are normally limited to black, grey and white, but sometimes they are useful to pick out a colour in order to help you solve the problem and find the odd one out. So thank you very much for watching this video. Feel free to check out some of the others, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!